Africans are showing that they are ready to be part of the global economic transformation. Africa is showing that it is ready for inclusion and sustainability. Africa is now a rising and emerging continent with an abundance of opportunities, optimism, and dynamism. Let me begin by first of all saying that it is my pleasure and indeed privilege to warmly welcome all of you to Kenya and to Nairobi.
Over the next few days, we will need to work together to ensure that the WTO contributes to these international efforts and delivers a meaningful outcome for the multilateral trading system, for sustainable development and for our countries, all our countries' economic growth and the prosperity of all our people.
We in Africa have been looking forward to such an occasion when we would have the opportunity to host discussions on matters that affect us most and matters that are so dear to us. We continue expending our energies to get out of this situation. And through fair trade rules, we will be able to lift millions of our citizens out of poverty, as trade drives development.
The multilateral trade system, with its foundations on the concept of non-discrimination, this is a fundamental concept, particularly for developing countries, particularly for sub-Saharan African countries. Because the moment that you create a system that it's based on preferential trade agreements, inevitably we'll have a balkanization of the world trade system. And wealthier nations are in a much better position to benefit from this than developing countries.
The slow progress in concluding the Doha round has given impetus to a multiplicity of mega free trade agreements. This does not augur well for an open and transparent, all-inclusive and rule-based multilateral trading system. The Doha round of negotiations in agriculture provides us with the best opportunity to address the distortions and to align global trade with our development goals.
Estimates indicate that conclusion of the Doha development round would lead to an increase in world exports in excess of $360 billion per annum.
Africa's farmers simply cannot compete against heavily subsidized farmers in developed countries.
We are optimistic that this Council meeting is poised to impact global trade, to strengthen the rule-based multilateral trading system, to ensure that the less developed nations of the world are given a better deal by removal of barriers which will foster a larger percentage of global trade.
I hope that the spirit of Kenya will have a positive effect on our work over the following days. We would like it said that Africa restored to the WTO, its elan, its capacity for trade rules and regulations, and its nimbleness in resolving and solving real-world problems.
We recalled some famous words of Nelson Mandela. He said, "It always seems impossible until it's done." So here, at the WTO's first ministerial conference to be held on African soil, I think we should take inspiration from that sentiment once again.
Wageni wetu,
hakuna matata.
Oh, karibu Kenya,
Hakuna matata.
karibuni fika Nairobi.
May I now propose that the Ministerial Conference adopts the draft Ministerial Declaration, the 3 draft decisions submitted by the General Council, and the draft decisions on agriculture, on cotton, and LDC issues as referred to in Part 2 of the Ministerial Declaration. It is so agreed.
We have 3 areas that we try to underscore in the agricultural negotiations, namely market access. We also have the area of domestic subsidies, and the third one is the export competition.
The decision you have taken today on export competition is truly historic. It is the WTO's most significant outcome in agriculture. The elimination of agricultural subsidies, export subsidies, is particularly significant.
We agreed in Nairobi that and laid a timeline on how these subsidies would be stopped. It has always been the wish of the world that these subsidies should be stopped, so that we have fair competition in the areas of agricultural products for the world. There is also the area of export credits. We were also able to set some measures that are also going to discipline that. We have set out the way this should be handled within the WTO. Also following up in the same line, food aid. Also the area of state trading enterprises. We have also been able to lay guidelines. Of course, the details, the full details will be worked out and released in Geneva by the WTO headquarters. But in general, the principles are agreed on. So it's no longer going to be a controversial area. It's going to be an area that is ruled by agreement, and WTO will from now on, in line with its mandate of establishing clear-cut rules on trade, it will be able now to influence and cater for this area. We were able to establish an agreement on consensus on how to handle services waiver. So this is another major achievement for LDCs. We were also able to address the issue of cotton, a very controversial subject, very deserving. We were able to have an agreement on ITA, the Information Technology Agreement, a very major achievement. Although at the moment this is just agreed on between 53 countries, all the other the remaining members, 164 members, are free to join. But the benefits will not be just restricted to the 53 members. They are available on what we call MFN basis, most favored nation basis, for the whole world, and countries are also free to join.
You have also taken important steps today to improve food security through decisions on public stock holding and towards a special safeguard mechanism. And you have agreed a package of specific decisions for LDCs. The decisions you have taken here will help to improve the lives of millions of people throughout Africa, around the world as well. The poorer the country, the more they will benefit from what we have done here.
We came to Nairobi, with two very, very contentious issues that the membership could not agree on, but we were hopeful that we'll get a way out. Some countries were very keen that the Doha issue, and these are the majority, the Doha agenda must be addressed in full until all the issues are fully addressed before we can handle any issues. Some countries were arguing, on the other hand, that we have delivered on Doha, whatever is deliverable, against the architecture that is there. And this architecture is not able to deliver the balance. And we must look out of the box and see how best to address the remaining issues. And the two groups could not see eye to eye. What was achieved in Nairobi, in my view, and eventually got consensual approval by the whole membership, was a historic and momentous achievement. People didn't realize, but we agreed to have a compromise. There was always a reminder at the back of our minds that this is the first meeting that is occurring in Africa for the first time, and we cannot let Africa down. We cannot come to Africa and kill the very impetus that joins WTO and the developing world, the agenda of development. We cannot come to Africa and bury Doha. So the goodwill was there, the hope was there, and indeed we achieved. We will find ways, two very important words, find ways to sort out the remaining issues as we also open up for new issues. Any member who feels he has something to put on the table for discussions by the membership should not be stopped. And I believe now there should be major excitement in Geneva as we approach our work beginning January henceforth.
Wageni wetu
Hakuna matata.
karibu Kenya,
Hakuna matata.
karibuni fika Nairobi.
Hakuna matata.